Hello, everybody.
Howdy.
I thought today was supposed to be a rest day for me. That last video took a lot out of me.
Yes, well, you know, sometimes, dear, it's hard being Kim Mikey. Sometimes it's hard.
And then some days you just have to shake your head and laugh.
Hey, Watchtower, pay very close attention to this video because we're about to expose something and you're not going to like what's going to happen.
Yeah. But before that, I want to start with an open letter to Jehovah Witnesses on behalf of the survivors of child sex abuse. Now, this has been posted everywhere on social media in the XJW community. And we've been asked by several who are affiliated with the UK Commission to please spread this around. So I'm just going to read this. An open letter to Jehovah's Witnesses UK on behalf of the UK survivors of child sex abuse at the hands of Jehovah's Witnesses. To the leaders of Jehovah's Witnesses in the United Kingdom, we, the survivors of child sex abuse at the hands of Jehovah's Witnesses, seek a public apology. We invite you to say sorry on behalf of your UK religious organization for your inadequate policies which have failed to protect us and the wider public from perpetrators of child sex abuse. During the ongoing sex abuse inquiry in England and Wales by IICSA religious institutes, including Jehovah's Witnesses, on August 10th, that's going to be this next week, have the opportunity to go on public record with an apology. We ask you to admit that you are among the institutions that have let children down in the past and substantiate your claim to abhor child abuse with a contrite apology as other religious institutions have done, rather than claim that you do not have the institutional settings to merit being investigated by the IICSA. One of your own articles in your religious magazine, The Watchtower, under the heading, When an Elder Makes a Mistake, explained how leaders in the Bible, such as David, apologized and therefore trying to justify, ignore, or minimize a mistake is much more likely to cause others to lose confidence, whereas apologizing earns the respect of others. I wish they would practice what they preach.
Wait for it.
Yeah. Now stay tuned to the end also, because there's an article about one of these perpetrators that is horrific. I mean, even the newspaper calls him a beast. Whilst we welcome your recent small improvements, such as the change to no longer require survivors to face their abuser, such changes are absent of any apology despite decades of harmful practice. Any attempt by you to suggest that such improvements have always been in place is insensitive to victims. We would therefore like to remind you of some of the things that we feel merit an apology. We would like an apology for failing to report all allegations of child sex abuse to the authorities, forcing survivors to have had to face their abuser in male-only judicial meetings, omitting to undertake criminal record checks for all congregation elders and ministerial servants. That's a good one.
That's right.
That's a good one. Promoting unvetted members of your congregations to mentor children of single parents. That's another good one.
Yep.
Instigating the practice of unvetted ministers in your congregations, inviting children to accompanying them in preaching and on Bible study work after school. Recommending children struggling with loneliness to befriend older, single men who work as ministerial servants in your congregations. We've seen that many times.
Oh, of course.
Teaching children that male elders can be trusted like Jesus. That's a biggie. That's a biggie. Obey them no matter what. That is just asking for trouble. Whilst omitting to inform parents that some elders have a history of child sex abuse, allowing known abusers to knock on doors of the unsuspecting public, mandating the shunning of those who speak out. The Shepherd Flock of God book, chapter 12, paragraph 39.4. We also invite you to explain how survivors of child sex abuse can obtain future compensation as the Jehovah's Witness organization in the UK accelerate their efforts to dissolve individual congregation charities, moving local funds and property assets under the protection of a company trust. And we've done several videos,
Yeah.
and so have many other XJWs about this Kingdom Hall Trust.
That's right.
And look at the article from Australia about them moving and hiding Jehovah's money.
That's right.
An apology can help heal and is often sought in preference of financial assistance. We think it is the Christian thing to do, and so we appeal you to please say sorry. On behalf of the UK survivors of child sex abuse at the hands of Jehovah's Witnesses. And I'll put a link down below to this.
How timely and how apropos for what we're going to discuss next. Watchtower.
Oh, I just spent the past 20 minutes talking to our mailman. He handed me our mail, and very nice guy, and he enlightened me about a few things and told me what was going on as he handed me my mail with a letter on top of the pile.
Write down the address, XJWs, because now we're going to do a counter-offensive maneuver that's going to include the above letter that Kim just read.
Now first I want to start with this elder's letter dated March 13th, 2020. And it was to all congregations. Coronavirus outbreak further direction. Dear brothers, the situation with coronavirus, COVID-19, is changing day by day. Further to the letter we sent yesterday, we are providing supplementary direction. Okay, now pay close attention. Field ministry. All house-to-house and public witnessing activities should be suspended until further notice. Publishers may be able to take advantage of other methods of preaching, such as witnessing to people they know by telephone, text message, email, or letter. All should use good judgment and exercise caution. Pioneers should not feel any obligation to meet our goals. Now we know the latest Elders letter from last week, all Pioneer Hour goals were suspended. So there's no quota that they need to meet for their hours.
And this is what's pissing off our postmaster here in this portion of New Mexico. These Jehovah's Witnesses in Berlin are flooding the local market with letters, and they are sending them to people unbeknownst to them. And thank you, Daryl Okra, P.O. Box 1242, Berlin, New Mexico 87002, because now you are going to get something that you didn't expect.
So I want to discuss my conversation with our mailman. Like I said, very nice man. We've known him for years. He knows us. And that letter was on top. And he says, I wasn't looking through your mail, but he says, I know who this is. And I said, should I have a warning before I open it? And he said, well, I know you used to be Jehovah's Witnesses. And he said, that's who this is from. And I said, oh, really? I said, they're not supposed to be sending letters to people they do not know.
They don't know.
You know, and he said, really? He said, our post office. Now I have to tell you, it's a very small post office. When you go in, the lobby is about 6 feet by 6 feet. And with the social distancing now, only 2 people are allowed in the lobby. That's how small of a post office. There's maybe 3 or 4 workers. Okay, so imagine a post office that small. Now our mailman said they are being flooded with thousands of these letters. And he said they're going to everybody in the area. Now our little post office not only covers our area, but several of the rural areas that are not large enough to have their own post office. So we're probably talking like a 30 square mile, because the nearest post office is approximately 25 miles away, one way. Berlin is 70 miles away. So while Berlin might have a larger post office, our little post office does not have the manpower. And our mailman told me, he said there's got to be thousands of them, and he says they're going out to everyone. everyone. And they are getting complaints from people because we live in a very high Catholic Hispanic area. So they're really ticked off about getting these. So we're going to read the letter that we received just this morning, August 8th, 2020. This was after that elder's letter went out.
Dear Mr. and Mrs. Brooks, we know it's hard being Kim Mikey, but no, I'm just kidding. Dear Mr. and Mrs. Brooks, good morning. My name is Daryl. How are you doing? I hope you're doing well. Oh, we are now that we have your address, Daryl. We're doing very well because we also know that there's a pedophile in your congregation.
And they're going to find out about it.
And they're going to find out about it. You see, Watchtower, you better make damn sure that your members are being obedient about sending letters to who they don't know. Because, see, now it's time for us to fire back. My wife and I are involved in an international volunteer work being done in some 240 lands in harmony with Jesus' command at Matthew 24:14. Due to the COVID-19 pandemic, we are unable to visit you briefly in your community. Well, Daryl, we haven't seen anybody but 1 or 2 Jehovah's Witnesses in the 12 years that we've lived here. This is how far out of the way we live.
I also want to mention that our mailman lives in the little town, and he says he thinks this is the same guy that has shown up at his house recently. And he said, he asked him, he says, I thought you guys weren't supposed to be out because of the COVID. And he says, well, we can visit ones we know. And our mailman says, I just chased him off and said, get the hell out of here.
Yep.
And he says, I can't, and then he got a letter.
Yeah.
Then he got a letter.
Yeah.
But now he knows that they're not supposed to be sending these letters out, so a complaint will be filed.
Yep. So, due to the COVID-19 pandemic, we are unable to visit you briefly in your community. We've suspended our public witnessing temporarily in compliance with the governmental instructions on social distancing. Romans 13:1. You know, the Roman law to be obedient, coming right from the Roman document. It is our desire to share good news of God's kingdom in the land in the hands of Jesus Christ, who will bring peace and security throughout the entire inhabited earth. Hey, Christians have been waiting for this for over 2,000 years. When's it going to happen? Enclosed is some information that will answer the questions and many more. If you desire to learn more about the Bible's answer to other concerns you may have, please feel free to contact us at the above address. Oh, trust me, you're going to get contacted, knucklehead. You're going to get contacted. You're going to probably wish you hadn't sent these letters out.
Maybe we should send them to a scan from the 1983 yearbook where the Australian Jehovah's Witnesses were involved in the war effort.
In the war effort, and then kindly explain how Jehovah's Witnesses in Germany were wrongly persecuted. They weren't being persecuted for their neutrality. Well, wait a minute. Maybe those German brothers were because they had no knowledge what the Jehovah's Witnesses in Australia was involved in. Oh, what a tangled web Watchtower has woven when they choose to lie and deceive. Going on. Or visit our website at jw.org. Hey, Daryl, we visit this website quite frequently, and so do a lot of other ex-Jehovah's Witnesses. That's how we can bust this wide open. This and you can consider a variety of subjects in the privacy of your home. Guess what? You're also going to learn about Kim Mikey, apostate YouTube channel that you can,
view in the privacy of your home.
Exactly.
Our work is not commercial! Exclamation point. Sincerely, Daryl Okra.
Oh.
This is what he sent with it. Now it's funny because when Mike is the one that opened the letter.
I opened it.
And he says, it's almost like he sent a brochure. It's kind of a thin brochure. I said, dear, that's not a brochure. That's their new Watchtowers. And he's like, oh my God, it's so thin. There's hardly anything there.
I don't even think there's enough paper in there to wipe somebody's butt with.
Wow.
So, hey, Daryl, I know you're not going to see this video, but your governing body will. And trust me when I say, governing idiots, this guy is going to get an eyeful. That's why we're giving this community the guy's name and address, and hopefully some of you will take opportunity to unwitness to this Jehovah Witness in Berlin. And just maybe, when the circuit overseer visits again, they'll shut all this uninvited letter writing to John Q. Public down.
Yeah, because like I said, you know, the mailman was really upset, especially when he found out that they were directed in an elder's letter that I have, and I said, if you and the postmaster, who I know also, would like a copy of this letter, I can bring it to your office. So guess what I will do Monday morning? I'm going to bring them a copy of this letter and show them that the Jehovah's Witnesses are not supposed to be flooding post office, especially a very small post office like theirs, with this propaganda.
That's right.
And they say this work is not commercial. The minute you put this magazine in it, you made it commercial.
You made it
because
commercial.
You're distributing propaganda through a publishing company.
Right. Exactly. It is commercialized work.
Yeah, yeah. And obviously, the others that contacted us from the Berlin congregation did not inform everybody in there that we're ex-members and not to contact us, because this is the third person now from the Berlin congregation that has contacted us.
So guess what, Watchtower? We're gonna we're gonna buy out the opportune time. See, we're gonna make you people choke on those words. Buy out the opportune time. Make a concentrated effort to reach those with the good news of how Watchtower is hiding child sexual abuse.
Yeah, I wonder how they'll like getting court documents from the Las Lunas court, which is just probably about 7-8 miles down the road.
If we can get them.
I've got them.
Oh, well, I thought we said that you didn't get them. Are you withholding information from me, dear?
No, you can get court records available on public. I don't have the entire transcript,
Oh,
but
it's a
I have
transcript.
the case number,
The
the
ca-
judge, and then it was dismissed with a gag order.
Ah, so guess what?
So they will get that. They will also probably get the scans from the 1983 yearbook. Might even have the links to the Australian Royal Commission and our YouTube channel, and tell them before you start flooding the community, this valley, with your propaganda, you better know what's going on, and that everybody in this community that we talk to knows what's going on.
And trust me, Watchtower, this person is going to know what it means apostate-driven lies are. Because, see, you won't tell anybody what an apostate-driven lie is. What they're going to find out is that your organization, is the one driving the lies.
Exactly. Now, along those lines, and along with the open letter I read at the beginning, I want to thank everybody who sent me this article in the UK. The article is, looks like it's dated today. North Staffordshire sex beast, that is in the headlines, that's not my word. Sex beast finally jailed more than 30 years after Jehovah Witness elders covered up his crimes. Deplorable, horrendous. And this from an organization that says they abhor child abuse? Then why are the elders covering this up for 30 years? They're the apostates that are lying.
That's right.
I'm going to read this article. Sex beast Mark Longshaw, that's what they call him, has finally been jailed for inappropriately touching 2 children more than 3 decades after his crimes were brushed under the carpet by Jehovah's Witness elders. The incidents dating back to the 1970s and 1980s were reported to a branch of the Jehovah's Witness at the time of the offense, which means they covered it up too.
The branch covered it up. Exactly.
Because no action was taken by the authorities until now. Now the 63-year-old of Diamond Avenue, Kids Grove, has been jailed for 4 years, that's not near long enough, and 8 months after he admitted 4 incident assault charges. Well, at least he admitted it. Stoke-on-Trent Crown Court heard he inappropriately touched 2 children and made them touch him. Elders became aware of the incidents and helped the defendant to cover it up. Makes me sick. In a statement, one of the victims said, "I know what was done was swept away. Over the years, I've tried to block out the abuse. I am emotionally damaged and mentally scarred. It has had irreparable damage on my life." The second victim added, "It has been hard to get through my life. I remember it as clear as yesterday." Sad. So sad. So our hearts, thoughts, and prayers go out to all of you abuse survivors. And I hope this UK Commission can expose this and get you some justice. Going on with the article. Barry White, mitigating, told the court that his client had not committed any offenses since he stopped molesting the children. Jeez. He said he struggles to understand why he did what he did. He has had no offenses since this came to a conclusion and was disclosed to the church elders at the time. He accepts that they helped to brush it under the carpet. Those elders should be
That's right.
tried also, and they should go to prison also.
Well, they're co-conspirators.
Yeah.
Because you're conspiring to keep it quiet.
So while Watchtower says they abhor child abuse, and we don't cover it up, if we're required to report it to the police, we all know this is a lie. And it's
That's right.
all being exposed now.
And it's going to get exposed to this Daryl and Gloria Okra also.
Yeah. Judge Paul Glenn told the court that he had no option but to jail Longshaw. He told him, "Your past has finally caught up with you." Good. Staffordshire Police have welcomed the conviction. Detective Constable Naomi Kinnersley said, "I would like to take this opportunity to praise the victims for having the bravery to come forward, and we salute you too.
Exactly.
Despite the passage of time, we investigated the crimes and took action. Victims of sexual offenses should come forward, no matter how long the passage of time, and tell police what happened. They will be listened to." And we also know that Governor Cuomo of New York just signed into law that they're going to extend the able to report historical, child abuse offenses.
Yeah, they're doing away with the statute of limitations.
Exactly.
But it is temporary at this point.
Yes. Yes, and I do know there's several working with many states trying to get rid of the statute of limitations. I know of some states that it's only 3 years. And what child after abuse, within 3 years is going to come forward? No. Sometimes it takes 30 years for this to come forward. So, like I said, our hearts, thoughts, and prayers go out to all of you brave heroes who, are speaking out about your abuse. Like we said, we salute you. And I think Mike and I have to get busy and write our own letter. I think we should count our time. And I think we should send them two. One to the wife and husband.
And husband.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That way they both get the information.
And if they're allowed to do this, maybe we should flood the Berlin post office with everyone in the community of Berlin about what these Jehovah's Witnesses, who they really are,
That's
and
right.
what is going on behind their closed doors and all the skeletons in their closet.
Exactly right.
Yeah, I think they need an education about Jehovah's Witnesses.
Yep. So maybe with a little bit of luck and the grace of God, we'll be getting a return letter from Daryl and Gloria Okra, Post Office Box 1242, Berlin, New Mexico 87002, and we can all welcome them to the apostate community.
Yes.
You see, Watchtower, this is going to end one way or another.
Yes.
One way or another, this is going to end.
And you can get your little agents out of this community too, because we're all finding out all about them and who they are.
That's right.
So
That's why sometimes it's hard being Kim Mikey,
I
because
know it.
we hear it all, Watchtower. We hear it all.
yeah. So be careful, everyone, especially if someone is using their affiliation with a very well-known activist. Just be careful, be cautious, and don't believe anything you receive as far as email.
See, just remember, friends, who and what we were as Jehovah's Witnesses. We were very trusting of fellow Jehovah's Witnesses. Don't make that same mistake being very trusting with ex-Jehovah's Witnesses also, because they could undo what we've been working to accomplish. Make no mistake about that. Mark and Cora did a video several years ago exposing how far these people will go to stop you from even getting to a reporter. Bear that in mind. We are at war here with Watchtower. Don't ever forget that. I know Watchtower doesn't.
Yeah. So just be careful, especially if you get an email from a very well-known and beloved activist, someone claiming to be affiliated with them or an organization. Contact the organization or the well-known activists themselves. But unfortunately, some are verifying that, yeah, they work with me, because they don't have a clue.
They don't have a clue
what they're doing to sabotage some of the activism that a lot of us are doing.
We need to exercise greater caution.
So, and listen to your gut. Listen to your gut. That will let you know.
You know, friends, Kim and I have thought about this, and I have mentioned this to a few of my closest friends in this community. It's very apparent that the Watchtower organization is moving to become an online religion. And in my opinion, and with those that I've shared this with, there seems to be an agreement. The one thing that can potentially stop Watchtower from becoming an online religion is an online archive of Watchtower literature. That's why some are working to get these online archives gone and out of the way. Now, if Watchtower can be successful in getting rid of all of this stuff online, within 1 to 2 generations, all of us that know the history will be dead and gone. And there'll be nobody to push the button and challenge Watchtower when they're a full-blown online religion. Because no one will know where the archive is, and no one will know how to search it.
Yeah, and sadly, Faith Leaks and Truth and Transparency Foundation was trying to get all of these documents out available to the public. And, we see how that went. And so, we're warning several, be careful of your websites, of what all you put on there. And I know some, say, well, this information has to be out there. Unfortunately, many don't have the, department of 100 or more lawyers at their beck and call, like Watchtower does. So
We've got to be smart about this.
Be careful out there, guys. And we love you. And thank you for watching. And you have a wonderful weekend.
Bye.
Bye.